Okay, bye. Today we're hitting a full upper body day. Let's go along for the journey. So we are hitting a full upper body day, starting off with incline bench press today. We had a lovely little warm-up set, with no weight in the bar. Now we're moving with 210s, negative 40 kilo start to the day. But I like this exercise because it targets the upper chest. It targets the whole chest. Right? I don't think you can necessarily target a specific part of your chest. Maybe you can bias a part of your chest. So for me, this is a bias towards the top pec around there, pec minor over here. As you can see, we're getting into a very slow and controlled movement. Pause at the bottom, trying to get that stretch at the bottom there. For those of you who don't know, the stretch at the bottom is probably the most important part when trying to build muscle or gain any hypertrophic response. So try and slow down the movement as much as possible when you're getting into it. Just so that you have that control, and also so that you are, making the necessary gains that you really want to make. Then we decided to throw in another 20. Right, so moving to 60 kilos over here, and possibly the same movement. Try and progressively overload. We did about 4 sets here. Obviously, first 2 warm-up sets, and then we got into our first working set over here. Did 3 working sets and then 2 warm-up sets over here. Also, it was a very gloomy day. Don't know why. Here in the southern hemisphere, you don't get much of that, especially in South Africa. Quite warm. It's getting towards winter though, so obviously, as you can see, we're wearing the jersey. I think it's a very good exercise. I love it so much. I feel that stretch in the chest. That's what you want. You want them buoys to grow a little bit. Right, then we move to 80 kilos. I think this is the second working weight. We didn't go heavier than this because I just wanted to obviously make sure that I save myself for the other movements of the day. But yeah, love this movement. It's great for the chest. If you're not incorporating it into your daily program, then I suggest you either find a new coach or you start adding it into either your chest days or your push days, depending on what your split is. So yeah, try adding it in. It's a very good exercise for that upper pec and even obviously a little bit of triceps as well. Then we moved on to the pull-ups. Pull-ups are an amazing exercise if you can do them. There's very similar muscle patterns with regards to a pull-up and a lat pull-down. But for me, this is harder. It just is a little bit harder, gets the heart rate going as well. And obviously, you want to start doing things a little bit harder for you so that you can, get that delayed gratification and make sure that you get getting necessary gains that you want. In this first set here, we hit about, I think, 12 reps. Couldn't really count, to be quite honest. The footage is, it's a little bit blurry. I need to fix that. What are you doing? Fix that. Anyways, moved on to a T-bar row. Got some, this is when the body started to get a little bit warm, so we took the jersey off and got into a T-bar row. We did about 3 sets here as well. Focused on, again, progressive overload. Started with 25 kilos on the one side, and then we moved to a heavier weight as well, and it felt good. That stretch at the bottom again. When you get into this movement, you again want to think about the top part being that control, and then going down, you want to feel that stretch all the way down to the bottom of the movement. That is the most important part. So we actually went quite heavy here today. We went quite heavy. It was something that I don't do this movement very often, but I've been seeing a lot of people doing it. It's quite a good movement. I missed it actually. and it was great to attack the lower lats here specifically. You get into a nice position. Obviously, the limiting factor is the fact that you're pulling it towards your chest, and you can't go further than that. But the stretch at the bottom, which is again the most important part, is what we are trying to look for here. So glad we could do that. Anyways, my shoes are looking a little weird. So I need to change my dress style. I think I really need to. But that's just how life is. I don't dress very well, isn't it? Anyways, if you are still here, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And please give me a subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Right, from there we'll try and get to 1,000 and then 10,000 and then 1 million, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this back and I'm gonna think this was the most cringe video ever made in my entire life. Anyways, moving on to the next round of pull-ups. It was amazing. Again, I actually find that when you get a little bit more fatigued, or you get a little bit more activation in your back, your pull-ups become a lot smoother. When you start with pull-ups, from what I've experienced, I tend to get about like 5 or 6 reps in the first set for some reason. And then as I get into the second and third set, my reps increase. Not the case for most people, but for me, that does happen. We've done to another set over here of the T-bar row. Again, amazing movement. Getting those lower lats and those rhomboids working, which is good. We want that. Yeah. I think my diet definitely has helped me a lot here. Right now we're in the middle of Ramadan, so there's no food in my system at the moment, and I'm still lifting a decent amount of weight, which is not bad. So I don't think I have any excuses anymore. I think Ramadan has definitely helped me understand that I do have discipline in my life, and I'm not making up excuses. So yeah, moved on to some cable flies. Again, we did 3 sets here. Again, we are focusing on that stretch. I want to go as wide as possible to feel that stretch. That stretch in the chest, right? Making sure that we are working properly. Yeah, and again, very slow tempo. Started off on 10 kilos and then worked our way up to about 15 here on the cables. One thing about cables is there's a constant tension throughout the range of motion, which is a good advantage, especially when you are either fatigued or you are, not as strong as you would like to be. Cables are a good way to try and get that volume into either any target or any muscle that you are trying to target. There's some woman doing some stuff in the background there. Also, I was listening to a very weird playlist on this occasion. It was a R&B playlist, and it was very slow while I was doing this. That song, Can We Talk for a Minute? Not talking for a minute, we're training, baby. Let's get the training. But anyways, again, nice and slow control, just a different angle, obviously. See how far my arm goes back in order to get that stretch in the pec. A slight angle pulling downwards, so this is going to target more mid-chest around there. Not target, but bias more mid-chest and lower pec, which for me is the issue. There's a lot of fat around the lower pec, which we are definitely working on with our diet and our training, of course. It'll get better. Trust me, let's just stay tuned. You will see, it will get better. Trust me on that. We then move to a seated shoulder press. I've been adding these into my program lately, even though, a lot of people say your front delts are being used when you're doing a bench press, when you're doing any sort of pressing movements, your front delts are working. Yes, I understand that, but you still got to train your front delts. Just because they are secondary muscles and they're being targeted when you're doing either a flat bench or incline bench press, you still got to train your front delts. And the trying to go as traditional as possible, normal shoulder press. As you can see, the range of motion, that bottom position where the shoulder is stretching out, that's what we want. Not fully locking out, because we want tension around the shoulder as much as possible. Time under tension, baby. That's what we're looking for. That's what we are looking for. We didn't go very heavy, and also rep-wise wasn't the greatest. Again, energy levels aren't the highest. Didn't have a pre-workout meal or anything like that when I was training here. So, we did what we could to try and get the best results. I think I've come a long way from where I started in the beginning of the year. I was quite overweight in the beginning of the year, and I feel like I've dropped it a little bit, which is good. Still a long way to go, but we are getting there. Just watch the space. Also moved into some lateral raises. Love this movement. Huge amount of lateral raises will allow your shoulder to be capped. You want it to be round. So again, range of motion is not very much here, right? I see a lot of people using their traps when trying to get into this movement. But actually, with this range here, very small range, we're getting that lateral shoulder working a lot more. And because we're on our phones most of the time, our shoulders are rounded, there can be instances of impingement, which I've had in the past, which is why I try my best to relax my traps when I'm doing any movement, whether it be pressing, whether it be pulling. I try to relax it as much as you can so that I don't get that nerve pain in and around the neck. Trust me, it's the worst thing you can ever experience. Someone's trying to talk to me. I was actually going to do a class after this, so I needed to. It's disturbed me here. Imagine that. I'm just getting ready for my workout and someone just disturbs me. Like, hello, I need to train here. Anyways, got into that second and then third set, right? And also did the third set for shoulders as well. Lateral raises, of course, which is good. I enjoyed it. So these sessions are the ones that you just kind of go through. You don't have much food in your system, but you got to get movement. You got to make sure that you're stimulating your muscles. Otherwise, they're just going to wither away, which you don't want. More muscle means more calorie burn throughout the day, which means you can add a little bit more, and you can create a bigger deficit when you are getting into your fat loss phase when you're training, of course. So always try and get the best out of your training with stimulation around the muscles. Then we ended off with some triceps here. Try to go semi-heavy, focusing on that. We didn't even focus on that stretch position as much. Try to get movement in here more than anything else. I did train my triceps 3 days prior, doing my push day. So, we're just trying to get 2 or 3 working sets in here to try and stimulate the muscle as much as possible. Anyways, that is me. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.